When I can walk into store A and get a Honeycrisp apple for $1, and then walk across the street and get the exact same type of apple for 75 cents, I'd be crazy to go back to store A, right? Well, sure, but we're not talking about apples. We're talking about wedding vendors, and all wedding vendors aren't made the same way. When you go price shopping for wedding vendors, you aren't really comparing apples to apples. It's more like comparing apples and pineapples. Sure, they might sound the same, they're part of the same category, but everyone's a little bit different, and make sure you're taking in more consideration than just the price. But let's face it, we're all looking for a deal, and that's why I did the work for you when I sat down with some of the leading wedding industry professionals and asked their opinion on how you can save some money using their types of services. Make sure you're taking notes.
It never hurts to ask. And when it comes to wedding planning, we all want to get the most value for our money, and we all want to pay the least amount that we can. So if you want to know if you can get a discount because it's February, or if you want to know if a caterer will throw in a late night bite for an early booking, it never hurts to ask.
I would say the best time would be during the summertime or just leading right into fall. Most DJs are coming out of their wedding season and they're waiting for the next booking. So if a client calls a DJ this year, there's a chance that they can get a DJ next year at this year's prices.
Being a former buyer, off-season is when you find the best deals.
Winter! Chicago winters! If you're comfortable with being in a polar vortex on your wedding, you will probably get some really nice deals.
No, the most popular months used to be like summer months, but now we're going into fall. So I would say winter and springtime, maybe?
Winter and seasonal packages, those are the best times that you can find some additional savings. Our packages for winter start in November and they run throughout the end of April, and you can really find some great savings that way.
Every part of the country is different, right? So Chicago, you're looking at, it's January through March or April. You can get a really great deal, and I'm dying to do a wedding on a Thursday. Anybody wants to call me for a Thursday wedding, I would love it. You're getting a greater deal because you're really, on a Thursday, you're competing against like corporate business, right? So it's like, if they even have that, like different days of the week might be something to consider. Fridays or Sundays are also gonna be more cost effective. And it's the same chicken, it's the same decor, it's the same quality of vendors, just cheaper.
November, December slows down at bridal shops. And this time of year, actually, we have a lot of prom girls shopping. And it's not dead time. Brides are coming in to see me, but we don't have as many bridal sales as we normally would. January, February, and then May, June, July, August, September, October. So November, December is when you're shopping probably for like the deals, and probably March.
I know a lot of vendors who will give off-season pricing. So depending on where you live, that season changes. Here in the Midwest, a lot of venues especially will give you discounts for winter weddings. The other thing to think of is midweek or Fridays or Sundays. Midweek, I mean, most vendors will give you a discount if you're like, I'm gonna get married on a Wednesday. Great, awesome, let's do that, because that opens up a Saturday for me. I can go see my family.
Off season from January to April is a great time if you're planning a wedding. A lot of people are really taking advantage of that because you'll get great discounts. Also, better quality vendors are going to be more available, or sometimes maybe it's just some random date that the band's trying to fill or the photographer for some reason has open. You have a little bit more flexibility with that. So you can, well, June 23rd, well, it happens to be the last Saturday we're free. We'd love to, to work something out for you.
But it is also becoming way more chic to get married in the winter. I mean, Pinterest has, all these pictures of first stoles and winter wonderland weddings. And I really think that, if you have your heart set on a certain season, just make sure that you're planning plenty of time, in advance. And if you're kind of open to it, look and see if some of those winter deals are out there. Chances are if you're getting married April through November, though, you're going to be paying full price for your vendors.
Off-season's different because maybe for a caterer, off-season is not holiday season. That's not off-season. That's like when they're at their peak. So really, off-season for me as a florist, I would say things get quiet for me. Like December to about March. So that's the time where I may be more flexible because I don't have so many events where I'm like, okay, we can do this. And chances are you'll be able to probably get a better deal. But in peak season where you have 2 to 3 weddings a weekend and you know that there's more inquiries coming, I need to be able to get, the best budget for that weekend. So then off season is going to be kind of the best time for a deal.
January, February, and March. That's it. Come at me anytime, January, February, and March. I'll find you a deal. For sure. Sundays, for sure. Absolutely. So Fridays, we don't necessarily do a discount. We just have a lower food and beverage minimum, which means like if you have a smaller group, that it won't cost you as much money. But yeah, so Sundays, we definitely give you a 10% discount though. If you want to have a off-season wedding, definitely, have it in January, February, have it on Monday through Friday, not the weekend. You can usually get good deals around there. It's like even, I would never give a discount in September, but I'm happy to compromise in January because January isn't really that busy. So I'll throw in an extra hour or give you 10% off or free print or whatever. Yeah, people are more flexible in January because we're slower then.
So many people focus on like off season. It still costs the vendor the same amount to turn out an event though. So while your wedding might be in January, I still have the same expenses. I still have to pay the same amount to the tax. I still need to pay the same amount to the DJ. So really getting a discounted rate, I don't think is the way to go about it. You have more options open to you though if you are, in the winter months or something versus the summertime when there's just a lot more demand so people are booking up faster.
Hey everybody, Jason back again. And usually I don't like to interject my own opinions and my own thoughts into this video series, but it dawned on me while I was editing that there are other ways that you can save some money on your wedding vendors that weren't really brought up except for Jeff.
I mean, it's less hours, not a second photographer, not having the album or the big pictures.
Limiting the number of digital images you get.
Yeah.
You could always just get a few.
Now, Jeff brings up a really good point here by saying that there are some elements that a vendor can portray in their package that you might not need. So what I'm going to explain is taking into the aspect of our own company of wedding cinematography. Now, I can't speak for all cinematographers and I definitely can't speak for all wedding vendors, but what I'm going to explain to you, maybe you can take that concept or that idea to your other wedding vendors and see what they can possibly do as well. So when we offer a package, we offer a certain amount of time plus some physical deliverables that you actually receive in the mail. For instance, we have flash drives that are Wi-Fi enabled with custom-made boxes, and we have extra boxes and raw footage on hard drives and video books. All of these things are custom printed for the couples, which costs us money. So if you don't want to receive something physical, if you don't want your flash drive or a DVD or Blu-ray, things like that, we can take that price out of the equation, hence saving you some money because it saved us some money. Another example is our films are roughly about 10-12 minutes in length. If you're interested in something shorter, we can definitely make a deal on that as well. And again, save you some money. Take that concept, maybe you don't need a 6-hour reception. Maybe you need something super small. Again, that's going to affect everyone's timeline. Again, I don't want to speak and say that will save you money guaranteed, but it is something to bring up. There's an old adage of trying to save money if I pay with cash. And what that literally means is if I give you cash and there's no money trace, you don't have to put this on your taxes. While some companies might give you a deal for offering cash, most vendors, at least most of the vendors that I know, won't, because we want to stay legit and we want to stay legal and we claim everything on our taxes. Some vendors work on a time basis, so if they charge per hour instead of like a package deal, maybe you can work out shorter time frames. And I just want to throw this out there because I like to overeducate. Most vendors are not charging an excess. All that money is going somewhere, whether they have overhead, whether they have employees, whether they have taxes to pay, insurance to pay. Just because that price may seem big, it might just mean you've never hired a photographer before, you've never hired a caterer before. So by doing your research, looking at what is available out there, and then calling, asking questions, any vendor's going to take the time to help you because that's our goal. Our job is to make sure your wedding is amazing. Whether you hire us or not, most vendors really do want to help. I really hope this video has helped, and I hope it's helped you see how you can find some deals and maybe why some vendors might not offer them. Either way, congratulations, and I hope your wedding planning goes amazing. We hope this episode of Vendors helps you on your wedding planning. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe, and to share to make sure you and your fellow planning couples don't miss a single episode. If you enjoyed watching this video, be sure to check out our entire conversation in the podcast. You can find all of today's vendors and their contact information in the details below this video. And be sure to check out all of our episodes about these amazing wedding industry professionals. We'll see you next time on Vendors. Vendors is produced and edited by Night Owls Media. More information can be found at nightowlsmedia.com.